Hi creatives, I am Dimma and you are welcome to another interesting sewing tutorial. In this sewing tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to make the stylish blouse with this sleeve. Yes, there is a slight twist on the sleeve, I know, but the emphasis is on the fabric. I'll be making this with beaded lace. Yes, in this tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to draft this blouse and also how to work with a beaded lace. Yes, one of the ways to work with a beaded lace. I'll share with you how not to break your stones if this is the method you are using to remove your stones. And of course, I will also share with you how to break the stones so that it does not damage or dent the lace. Without wasting your time, let's get right into the video. This video, I will start with pattern making. You can see I have done this to an extent. I've drafted the shoulder, the armhole, the neckline, and other things. Yes, even the side bust that. Then I will go ahead and do my bust to bust. The bust to bust for my client is 7, and what I'm marking here is 3.5. That is half of 7. Having marked that, I'll just draw a vertical line like this. So after drawing it, I'll just come down by 1 inch like this, go to the waistline, mark ½ inch on both sides of that line, and then connect to this point that I marked earlier. Then I'll measure 6 inches down to complete my dart, just as you can see me do. So that is what I did here. Now the next thing is on the bust knee, quarter this way and 3/4 this way. Then I'll use my curve to go ahead and connect, just as you can see me do, as easy as that. Now after doing that, I am going to go ahead and come out here by quarter and then complete the dart, as you can see me do. Exactly what I did, that is what you're going to do to get exactly what I got. So now I'm measuring the waistline, waist measurement divided by 4. I will mark it like this. Then I will measure the dart intake and also mark it. And this is what it gave. I'll go ahead and go down by the hip measurement, measure the hip line. Okay, so I'll measure the hip measurement divided by 4. I added 1 inch to it so that the blouse will have this ease towards the hip, from the waist towards the hip. That is how my clients wants it. But if your client wants it very close to the body, please leave it at the hip measurements. So right here I am measuring the blouse length. Okay, so what I have here is about 26 because my clients also wants it to be very long. I even finally decided to make it 27. Yes, that is what I just did, and I extended the line to the 27 inches mark. Now I drew my horizontal line to complete this pattern. I had to go up by 1 inch there and just make a slight curve. If you're not okay with this, you can leave yours as a straight line. I just like doing that. I feel it's beautiful on blouses. Then I had to come down here. By 4.5, I finally decided to move up a bit by quarter inch. So I came down by 4 1/4. So here is the over bust tightening, which is ½ inch on both sides of the point that I chose. Feel free to choose any point you like and connect to the bust like this. Note that the basic neckline is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, okay, before the 4 inches neck drop. So what I did here is to choose a point and complete the dart so that the yoke can be, made to rhyme with the over bust. So I had to complete this line vertically like this. Now this is what I have, the front pattern. I'm just measuring here because this is what I'm going to use for the back. It's going to rhyme with the back, and that is 9 3/4. So what I'll do now is to come to the back. I've also drafted the back pattern to a very good extent. I just marked 9 3/4. Yes, earlier I made this blouse a bit shorter in length, so I had to add up that length, okay, to make it 27. So waistline to the hem of the blouse is the same for bust, for front and back, but it's different from the shoulder line to the waistline. Yes, front length is different from back length. So I had to come up here. I had to mark the hip measurements on the hip level. That is what I did. This is the hip measurements that I'm marking here. If your hip is 44, go ahead and mark 11 plus 1 inch. So I connected and allowed it to meet the 27 inches line, though it is not 27 at the back. Please, that is why I took that measurement from the waist to the hem of the blouse. Yes, for the front, and use the same for the back, because front length and back length are not the same. Please, this is how you're going to take your own measurement as well. So what I'm doing here is just to measure the waistline. I took my back tightening. From the back tightening, I took the waist measurement divided by 4 plus that intake, and that is what I'm connecting up and down like this. Don't mind the shape, it's going to come out nice, provided that is your client's measurement. Just ensure that the measurement of your client is very, very, very accurate. Okay, that is the most important thing. So having done this, this is what I have for the back. I am going to go ahead and create a back vent. Please, if you don't want a back vent, that is fine. If you want a yoke for your back, feel free to do what you please on this back. But for my client, she wants a back vent, and there is no yoke for the back. The yoke is only in front. So I had to drop it by 6 inches at the back from the basic neckline. Okay, and this is what I created. Note that the back basic neck is 3 1/4 by 1 inch. Okay, from that 1 inch drop, I dropped again 6 inches to create the back vent. After that, just go ahead and cut out the pattern, and we will continue with the alteration where necessary. So this is the back tightening that I just cut out, and this is the back pattern. That's the extra on the waist. And don't bother about the shape, everything is going to come out nice. So this is the front, and that is the back. So this is the back front, pattern, and I am going ahead to cut out the yoke. So go ahead and close up your yoke. You can close it up in many ways. Okay, you can close it up completely and tape it down with your masking tape. You can also close it up halfway and trim out the remaining half from the armhole. I hope you understand. Okay, so but I want to close it up completely, because this yoke, I am going to work with it in a very unique way, and you will not want to miss it. So here I'm closing the side bust darts. Okay, side bust darts, you just tape it down just as I did, and this is the front pattern with the yoke to complete it. Yes, this is the front pattern. So now this is what I have. I have the satin fabric, which is what I'm going to use for interlining. Okay, interlining of the lace. So go ahead and pin your patterns in place, just as you can see me do, and cut out. So I had to cut. I cut the hem with 1 inch and the side with 1 1/4. Every other seam allowance is 1/2 inch. The side seam allowance is 1 1/4 inches. The hem is 1 inch. Every other part of this pattern is 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm going ahead to notch the underbust and the bust point, and of course the seam allowance by the side. The next is to go ahead and cut the back. So what I did for the back is to go in there by 1 inch, and I connected to the neckline so that it doesn't, stay very close to the neck by the side, if you understand what I mean. So that is just what I did there. I will also do the same thing for the yoke of the front, so that the front and the back will rhyme perfectly at the shoulder. If you have any questions based on what I am saying, please go ahead and ask in the comments. I'll be there to answer to your questions. Please, if you are not familiar with basic pattern making, I'll put the link in the description box so that you can look at it and see the whole process of making a basic bodice block, and of course a torso foundation. So this is what I did for the back, and I had to go ahead and put the notches on the seam allowance. Now this is the zipper area that I notched now, but I notched it on the waist level. I also used it to mark where the waist level is. If you want yoke on your blouse, you can go ahead and put the back yoke. My client does not want it, and that is why it is like that. Okay, which is also beautiful. Now I had to go ahead and fold my beaded lace. Yes, so I had to fold it like this and then place the pattern on it. Okay, I place the pattern and I am going ahead to cut it out. Of course, I'm cutting it exactly the same measurement with the interlining, which is satin. Okay, doll face satin, that is what I used. Watch that I did not damage the trimming on the tip of this. Yes, because I might be needing it. That is why I did not tamper with it. So right here I am also cutting the front pattern, just as you can see. Also cut yours and ensure that it is exactly the same with the interlining, which is doll face satin. And after cutting all of that, this is what I have. I've also cut the lining, which is a white cotton lining. So this is what I have for the lining, and you can see how I interfaced it with gum stay. Okay, that is what I did. I used gum stay for that back together with the vent and all. So this is the wording that I put in front, and you can see the gum stay towards the neckline as well. I ensured the wording did not get to the neckline so that the neckline stays flat, okay, even that it has a yoke. So this is what I have for the lining. Okay, note that the wording of the lining is thicker than the wording of the interlining, which is doll face. So having done that, this is all I have, and I will go ahead and start working with the beaded lace. Yes, emphasis on the beaded lace. So this is what I have. I am going to crush this. Okay, I'm going to crush all the stones along this line. I'm going to crush 3/4 inch on this point I'm pointing now, on this place part I'm pointing now. That seam allowance, I'm going to crush not just the half. I'm going to, go in a little more and make it 3/4. So even on the seam line, all the seam lines I'm going to crush by 3/4 inch. Then by the side, I'm going to just crush along that line that I am supposed to stitch on the side seam. Okay, I hope you understand. And this is what I'm using. This is an iron, okay, that is used, is like a weight. Okay, so I placed that cotton fabric on it, and then I placed the lace on it, and here I am hitting it up with my hammer. Okay, just hit it, not so hard. And as you hit, ensure that you lift the cotton fabric on top of that iron to release the beads. Very, very important. Ensure that you lift it to remove the beads, because these beads will still tear the net if you do not do this. I had to fold it again. So this is 4 layers of that cotton lining piece that I used on that iron. Okay, so what I'm doing here is to crush. When I crush, I dust off the surface. That is what I do. You can see that the net is still strong. Okay, if you use this method, it's not going to dent your lace in any way, and it will ensure that the thread that is used for this beading is not going to, the beads is not going to start falling away, because you did not tamper with the beading thread. You only had to hit off the beads. So do it gradually, lift it up, dust off the beads, very important. And you can see that the lace is still very strong, it's not going to tear. Trust me, if you follow this method, your net will not tear. Everything will look so nice when you are done. If there is any reason why you have to put back the beads back, of course there is always pieces coming out while cutting. You can pick some beads from there and fix it back along that line if need be, because if you do it really well, there will be no need for that, because the space will be so tiny that it will not be noticeable, if you understand what I mean. But if for any reason there is need for that, you can actually put those beads back slightly. Yes, you can work it on it slightly if you want to, but if you do it really well with the allowances I showed in this video, there will not be need for that. But if there is need, please pick up your pieces, cut out the beads and fix it back. So that is how to fix it. Now see, don't do this. Don't place this directly on this iron and be hitting without removing the beads. Now what is going to happen is, if you do this, is the lace is going to tear. The lace is going to tear if you do this. If you don't dust off the surface, you can see that it's already weak. It is already tearing. Yes, because those beads will tear the net. So cover like this always before placing your net to heat off. Please don't use your hand to heat off this. Glass beads can actually injure your hand. You can wear a sort of thick glove or fabric glove and use it to dust it off, please. And also wear goggle on your eyes so that this does not, come on your eyes, please. So having done this, you can see that I have stitched the back dart on the interlining, yes, so that I will not do double work. So I placed it like this, and then I had to trim it off, trim the excess off before cracking the beads, because if you crack the beads like this, you're going to end up working double. So after stitching, I don't stitch my darts on the luxury fabric, I don't stitch my darts on the beaded lace. Okay, so after stitching your dart like this on the back, you place it and then cut. You can use the first one to now cut the second side of the lace before now removing the stones from the lace. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the back as well. Now the next thing I did here is just to go ahead and cut out the yoke. Now watch how I am going to cut out the yoke. My bust hem is just to help me hold the lace in place so that it doesn't shift. Okay, so having put this in place, I will just go ahead and cut out the yoke. Okay, so here I am going in by 1 inch. You remember I had to go in by 1 inch at the back as well. So I'm doing the same thing for the front so that it will rhyme. Now I'm trimming off that. After that, I'm going to place it back on the lace and cut out. Watch that there is a design at the lower part of this yoke. I'll be showing you how to do all of that in the next tutorial, because this one is all about pattern drafting, removing the beads and all of that, because this video is already long and I cannot incorporate the sewing tutorial, which is also loaded. I cannot put it in one video because it will be too long. Okay, so right here, this is what I have, and I'm going to go ahead and follow the flow of this curve and cut it out. You will see how I use this yoke in the sewing tutorial. Okay, now considering that this net stretches, I had to remove 1/2 inch from the shoulder line. This way it will just be perfect after stitching. It's not going to slack or come down lower than it should. Okay, so this is what I have, and you can see I'm going to crush every part that I need to all along the seam lines and all of that. So after that, I am going to place this. I'm going to place all of this lace on top of the interlining and stitch it in place before I start joining the blouse together. This I am going to share with you in the next tutorial. If there is any excess lace, just go ahead and smooth out, cut out everything. I'm going to share with you how to put all of this together in the next tutorial. Trust me, that tutorial is as well loaded and you will not want to miss any part. I'll be sharing with you how you will turn the neckline of this perfectly, even without bias. Yes, I'll share with you how I did that and you will not want to miss it. I will also be sharing with you how to make the gorgeous sleeve that you saw. Yes, I will share with you how I fixed this yoke perfectly to this. I'll share with you how to make a very neat inside of a blouse like this. See the sleeve? How I used it to achieve the gorgeous sleeve on this blouse. Yeah, I'm going to share all that. How I made use of this elastic to achieve this beautiful sleeve. You will not want to miss any part. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Love you all.